Hey Good Life and happy Friday. Thank you guys for tuning in to today's 128 moment. I hope that you guys enjoy seeing me on 128 because it should be an indication that it is Friday and the weekend is almost here. So wherever you are at today, pray that you're having an awesome time and that you're going to have a great weekend. But before we get there, I want to just briefly dive into what I feel like would be an encouragement to you today and look at the scripture together. Now, in our Good Life Journal, we just started reading through the book of Hebrews, and today is Hebrews chapter 5, but I actually want to look back at Hebrews chapter 4 and what we would have read yesterday. And it talks about this topic of Jesus as a high priest. Now, I want to dive into that because a high priest isn't something you may be familiar with in our modern world, but it's something that I think would be a huge encouragement to you and that would spur us on in our faith if we could grasp this idea of Jesus as our high priest. So let's read this together. This is Hebrews chapter 4, starting at verse 15. It says, "For we do not have a high priest who is unable to sympathize with our weaknesses, but one who in every respect has been tempted as we are, yet without sin. Let us then with confidence draw near to the throne of grace, that we may receive mercy and find grace to help in time of need." So this idea of a high priest, what does it mean? Well, in the Old Testament specifically, the high priest would have been the mediator between the people of Israel and God. So the high priest is this person, this function that is mediating between people and God. And we see this in all kinds of religions, all on planet Earth, and specifically, maybe you're familiar with seeing it in, the Catholic faith. This kind of idea of you go to confession, that you go to a priest who then will mediate, on behalf of God, or will take your request to God. Well, there's a radical thing that we're reading in Hebrews, which is that there is no need for a high priest in the life of a believer, and I believe that completely, I would say, separates Christianity in following Christ from every other religion on planet Earth. Because the idea that we're reading in Hebrews is that we come actually boldly into the presence of God. And how do we come boldly? Well, we come boldly because we recognize that the mediator we don't have to go to some human being or a priest or a pastor or anyone else. We have a great high priest in Jesus, who mediates between us and God, that He has removed the separation that once existed between you and God. And instead, we can come actually boldly into the presence of God. And we do so with confidence. Now, that idea of doing that with confidence used to be something I struggled with because it seemed like just odd to me that we as people would come into the presence of God with a boldness or with a confidence. But I want to put this idea in your head today, and that is that we come in boldness, we come in confidence because of who our high priest is. Now, here's what I'm going to leave you with, is this idea that when we come confidently into the presence of God, it testifies to our high priest, which is Jesus. When we feel like that if we've messed up and we can't come before God, it just falls back into that trap of religion, that it's dependent on us and our abilities to connect us to God. Instead, today, if you want to receive mercy, if you want to feel connection to God, you don't have to go to another person. Right wherever you are today, you can pray, you can be connected, you can come into the presence of God, and not only do so, but do so with confidence and boldness. So with that, let's praise Jesus and pray that you guys have an awesome weekend, and we cannot wait to see you Sunday.